Welcome to Pantry Time with Coco. I'm an intuitive tarot reader and an omnist spell worker. So today I want to talk about how do you identify if you're under like a black magic, spiritual attack, or under a hex or curse. This is my personal opinion, and I do feel like different practitioners will have similar but different perspectives. And I can only speak to my experience so far. I'm pretty sure other practitioners would have their own views as well. But here we go, because I do get this question quite a bit in understanding like, oh, am I under an attack? Before we go into whether you are under an attack, ask yourself why. Is there like a clear suspect you have in mind? Like, okay, I know like my ex is trying to cast a spell on me, to bind me to her and things like that. Why? Were there unresolved conflicts? Was it something that your person has said to you and that has made you think a lot? Like maybe your ex sent you a text to say, you know, I'm gonna do this and that might have bugged you for a long time. And ask where it's coming from first, not about the symptoms, but why do you feel that someone else is casting? What is the reason? What might be the intention? If you have a clear suspect and there was a history with them, there wasn't any evidence yet, I would say then jump to point 2, which is understanding like the logical explanation. As much as I am a magical practitioner, I do want people to explore the logical aspects of why you might be feeling certain way, like you're feeling very tired, you're constantly feeling like you have bad luck in certain areas in your life, things like that. What is the logical explanation? For example, if you've always had bad luck in love and you suspect that your ex casted a spell on you, like a black magic or like a love hex on you, ask yourself, why is it? Because of my own projection? Am I still carrying like past wounds? Have I always been the most like healthiest lover? Do I approach relationships in a healthy way? Always deep dive within yourself first, okay? And that is, to me, a very important factor on why you should do like a reality check with yourself, a logical explanation to understand first. Because in my perspective, even if there was really like a love hex that was done, that was casted on you, but at the same time, you have unhealthy practices, you have unhealthy perspective towards love, like there's a fixed belief or there's a subconscious fear that you won't be able to commit to anyone. It is self-imposed more than it is external. And I feel like people tend to want to find reasons to blame, for the lack of a better word, instead of like really deep diving to understand like maybe the issue is with me. Okay, so this is the point that I'm trying to make here, that if you don't already have healthy behaviors, practices when it comes to relationships, when it comes to finances, or you find yourself to be always thinking about the negatives, then it's highly likely because of your own thinking and projection of yourself that is causing this, like discomfort, challenges that you're constantly facing in life. For example, if you're someone who's very avoidant in love, or you might be attracted to people who are avoidant in love, it also reflects a lot about yourself. There is an avoidant aspect within yourself, which is why you tend to be interested in people who are not available to you, because deep down you are not that available as well. Okay, so the differences now between psychic attacks, black magic, and hex and curses. Okay, so this is a very logical kind of way to explain the different energies, but when it comes to experiencing it, it will take multiple checks. It will take time for you to really verify which one of it is, okay? And then at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about how I personally handle situations like that in my personal life, okay? Which we will get into later. Let me just put my hair up because it's really hot. Okay, so here goes. For psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, it is unconscious. It is people sending you negative energy. It's almost like evil eye. It's kind of similar to evil eye energy. People might be jealous of you, for example, looking at your social media posts, especially if you're very active, or if you hang out and you share a lot about your life. Psychic attacks can happen that way, where people are just sending unconscious negative energy towards you. For example, like maybe you talk about your relationship with someone to your friend, okay, maybe, and then your friend might be a bit jealous, a little bit triggered, and maybe behind the scenes they're like, oh, gossiping about you, right? That is evil eye energy. Well, a psychic attack sounds very strong, very intense, and I feel like a psychic attack can only really happen aside from evil eye negative energy that people are sending to you unconsciously by someone's repeated negative thoughts. So this is why we do a check, right? Who are the people you tend to surround yourself with? That's so important, because if you surround yourself with people who tend to feel that competitiveness towards you, unhealthy competitiveness, and they don't truly want the best for you, they don't want to see you do great, they don't want to see you do well, please get rid of all these people. And this is something that I personally have done in the last 2 years. People that I've been the closest with, which I've always felt a little bit of tension with, even though we are really close, we really love each other as friends. You just know that sometimes even in your happiest state, they're not really happy for you, right? And unfortunately, it's something that you just have to let go of. Like, there's no closure needed. I don't think a conversation is required. That's how I handle my shit. And you just choose to take a step back. I don't think you have to cut people off entirely, like block them and stuff like that, but just know that whatever happens to this person is irrelevant to you from now on, okay? And that's how I handle it. And if someone constantly talks shit about their friends to me, it's another sign as well. I don't keep people around me like that. I don't really entertain that. Okay, so this is something for you to think about as well. What are the kinds of friends around you? I can tell you the people that I'm so close to right now, that I share a lot with in my life, and I don't share my life much with a lot of people. I'm very, very selective as an individual. They are people with the kindest of hearts, okay? They are very, very loving. They are very, very supportive of their friends. They love their friends, and I absolutely love my friends right now, okay? And at least the people that I'm still close to, right? So keeping your circle clean, not just small, but clean, is the most important factor. You can still connect with people as friends, as acquaintances, but it's so important to distance yourself when you feel the need to, and don't feel like you owe anyone an explanation. Okay, that's an important part that I want to talk about as well. You don't owe anyone for wanting to be spiritually hygienic, all right? Okay, so this is psychic attack, people sending negative thoughts to you, subconsciously, unconsciously, whatsoever. Okay, black magic is when people are intentionally performing rituals, spell works to send negative energy your way to cause harm, okay, to cause with ill intentions, okay, it's so important. Black magic can be done in many ways, and usually you need to use like more energy in terms of other energies besides natural energies. You need, I wouldn't say besides natural energies, but like entities, spirits, to fulfill certain tasks for you. So that's how black magic is done and casted. I mean, I'm not a practitioner of black magic, so I don't know the full details. I'm sure there are crazy ways to do it. I also want to emphasize that for example, people hear blood magic, and they think it's tied to black magic. It's not the case. It's similar to drugs and medication, right? Like, there's always good intentions behind the creation of something, but when it's misused, that's different. So the intention really matters here. Okay, for black magic, meaning to say, I can have a perfectly normal setup looking like white magic, candles, whatever, but it could be the casting of black magic as well. You just wouldn't know, because it's After all, it's their intentions. What exactly are they chanting? What exactly are the intentions behind this magical practice when they're performing certain rituals? Okay, so that's black magic. And sometimes the things that you feel would be things just happening constantly out of your control, and it's abnormal if you compare to better periods of your life and you realize, oh my god, like this period is bad and I'm still trying to stay positive, I'm still living a healthy life, I don't have toxic people around me, I don't practice toxic activities, negative self-talk, I don't have that, but still external situations are causing me harm. Like suddenly my deals are falling through, I'm constantly falling sick, even though I eat healthy, I sleep well. Okay, it's so important that I have to emphasize the logical parts that you are already doing the right things. Okay, if you're always sleeping late, you're always on your phone, and you're like, oh my god, like someone's like making me feel this, you just need to fix your sleep. Okay, so black magic is that. And then there's also hexed and curses. Hexed and curses are very specific targeted intentions. For example, a love hex, a money hex, to curse certain domains of your life. You're constantly running into people who are like cheating on you, and they are not available to you. You're always facing certain issues when it comes to love, and you're constantly thinking about one individual. Okay, provided that you are a healthy individual when it comes to your relationship perspective. Again, emphasizing the logical part, which is you are already by default a healthy individual. Why am I stressing so much about you being healthy and you keeping to your practices of cleaning your environment out, people out, behavior thinking out? Because even if, let's say, black magic was really casted on you, a hex was placed on you, people remove it, but you are still surrounding yourself with toxic people, codependencies, you're still not working through your problems, it's easy for it to return. Okay, whatever negative energy that was sent to you, it's easy for them to come back in again. It's easy for someone else to cast a spell on you again. So ultimately, what are we going to do then? If you're under a psychic attack, if you're under black magic and hexed and curses, okay, this is the part that I talk about how I personally handle it and how I would recommend you to handle it yourself. Always go to step 1 first. Don't give a fuck, okay? That's me. And at the start of my spiritual journey, I did go to multiple teachers, spiritualists, people who have been very experienced doing witchcraft across different religions, and people that I've known through courses and things like that. I always ask this question, like, how do you handle situations when people send place hex or curses on you, servitors sent to you, or black magic sent to you, like casted on you? The answer is always the same for people who are so experienced. I mean, of course, they would do their own protection. They would already have done their own cleansing, which can be a very simple practice through meditation, by the way. You don't need like a master teacher to come in to help you. Okay, let's not talk about possession. Okay, possession is totally different. But if you're talking about curses, hex, you can handle it yourself first. And you would have to first do not give negative energy any more power than it already has over you. Meaning to say, to constantly associate every negative event to that specific energy of like, oh, someone has casted a spell on me, I tripped and fell today, someone casted a spell on me. No, maybe you were just tired, you were dehydrated. Okay, so again, the basis of you as a person, like, are you living life well? Are you living life healthily? Are you cutting down on toxic activities like alcohol, smoking, caffeine addiction, gambling, surrounding yourself with people who are negative and toxic, right? Those are the things that you want to clear out first. And those take effort. You don't change those things overnight, okay? So take time to work on those things first. And when it's months later and you feel that you have done all those things, you are now clear of people who are negative, you are constantly doing affirmations, you're constantly going out to work out, you're exercising, you're only listening to good things like podcasts, positive things. You're reading less news about the negatives of the world. You're not always comparing yourself to other people on social media. Once you have reached that level and you still find that those things are happening to you, then I would say it would be logical to think that there was black magic, there was hexes, curses. Okay, so all I want to say is that sometimes when it comes to, spiritual stuff, negative energy, it's honestly a very easy fix. But it's also oftentimes the things that people don't want to hear. Why? Accountability. As human beings, I'm not talking about you guys, right? Me included. Human beings, we always want someone else to be responsible for our own actions, someone else to be responsible for our negative events, negative experience. But we don't realize that we are 100% in full control. And I always say this to myself and to clients, which is, you are always just a decision away. To be happy, to be positive, to be healthy, it's always a decision away. This comes first. Like, how do you talk to yourself? How do you react and respond to situations that might not feel good in that moment? Okay, so those are the things that I hope you guys would think about, especially if you've been always thinking about like, oh, is someone like casting a spell on me? Is someone's energy affecting me? Okay, I'm going to do a separate video about, because when it comes to twin flame soul connections, people tend to feel like, oh, is this my person's energy that I'm feeling, that I'm picking up on, or is it my own emotions? Okay, so I'm going to do a separate video on that, which is also somewhat relevant to your own healthy practices and taking accountability for your own emotions. Okay, so that's separate. And I hope you enjoyed today's video and you learned a little bit. What can you do if you feel like you're under a psychic attack, black magic, hexes, curses? I don't handle black magic and hex curses removals. You can go to practitioners who do that. I'm pretty sure you can find a lot on Instagram. There are a lot of practitioners that I know who are very experienced in the area. If you're interested, I can always refer you guys to them. And you can also go to, temples or whatever, right, place of worship, according to your faith and religion, to seek help, okay? Other things, if you don't have a religion, my recommendation is meditate every single day. That's the advice that has been given to me so many times by so many different practitioners as well. And it's something I'm still constantly working on in terms of my discipline and commitment to meditation. Meditation can be used in many ways, okay? So just because you meditate doesn't mean that it's for cleansing. Just because you meditate doesn't mean it's for protection. It has to be intentional. Take time to meditate with intention. For example, to clear out negative energy, to protect yourself with that shield of white light around you, okay? So those are things that you can easily find on YouTube with guided meditation. Just Google or go to YouTube and search up like meditation for cleansing, meditation for protection. You don't always have to pay a lot for something to be done to protect yourself, right? If you think about witchcraft, if you think about the olden days, like how everything has started, people don't have all these tools. They don't have guided meditation audio or podcasts to listen to, and they use whatever is available to them, around them, to help them with their own spiritual hygiene. Okay, so this is something that I want to share with you guys, that protection and cleansing can come free, but you have to want to do it. Okay, sending you guys lots of love and light, and I will be sharing more again in another video about how do you discern someone else's energy from yours and where it's coming from. Okay, bye. Subscribe and like. I'm slowly gonna push out more videos on YouTube, so hopefully, for longer content, because it's like 19 minutes here. I can post them on TikTok, I can post them on Instagram, so do subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever I push out new videos. And if you want me to cover certain topics, drop me a DM anywhere and I'll be happy to talk about them.